What's up guys, Andrew here on my channel Geared Inc., where I get to share what I'm passionate about with you. And on my channel, that's PC tech, games, and gear. And today we are talking about the new Ryzen APU, specifically the 2200G. Thanks to my beautiful wife for basically sponsoring this because she financed the CPU. So thanks honey, I appreciate it. But I've gotten to play with it for the last couple of days and I'm pretty impressed with the results. So let's talk about a little bit, about the gaming and everything before I go into the whole reason why I said watch before you buy. That's because there's a couple of technical things you guys need to be aware of that I want to go over at the end of the video to make sure that everything works the way it's supposed to. So the first game I tested was Overwatch, and no surprise, on low settings we were able to get 60 FPS all day long. This is a well-optimized game, but it's still pleasant to see that you're able to game without a dedicated graphics card on a game that's played by quite a few people. Moving on to Dota 2, or an esports title. Again, very high FPS, and this was actually at medium settings on stock, and so this is something that you would want to obviously take into consideration if you're looking for something for like a League of Legends or Dota 2 build. This will absolutely fit the bill. Now, moving on to a game that is not optimized in any sense of the word, PUBG, we do see lower frames. Now, this is at the lowest possible settings at 70% scale, so obviously it's not going to look fantastic by any means. And when I was trying to basically get into combat, it was a little clunkier, obviously harder to shoot just because there's a little bit of, it feels anyway like a little bit of delay, but it wasn't due to stuttering. I would say it was more due to just low FPS. And then finally finishing off with a game, Battlefield 1, where it's more of a AAA title. Yes, the FPS are lower, but due to the game optimizations, I thought it still looked just fine. Playing it didn't feel super clunky. I was overall impressed with what you were able to get out without any dedicated graphics cards whatsoever. Now, in terms of overclocking, guys, this is the exact same CPU as the 1200, meaning you're not going to be able to push it any further than those ones. So if you were expecting to get better overclocking out of this, you're not going to. It does have a higher out-of-the-box clock, but the 12 nanometer die refresh for Ryzen is supposed to be dropping starting in April, and that's when we're going to see that new die that may support better overclocking. So until then, don't expect that. But I was able to get a 3.0, 3.8 gigahertz overclock on the CPU and 3000 megahertz on the RAM. After going back and testing the games, one of the things I noticed is that Battlefield wasn't able to work. It basically crashed every time after the overclock was applied. But specifically in PUBG, I saw nearly double the frames, which was obviously dramatic, which just goes to show that overclocking can have a potentially dramatic increase, especially with these APUs. So I do recommend that if you do overclock it, to get more performance out of it overall, because you can see the results, clearly, obviously, from just this footage. So in terms of gaming, guys, if you are looking for something to fill the gap while you're waiting for GPU prices to go down, the 2200 and 2400 are an excellent solution. If you're wanting to wait for the other refreshes that are coming out from Ryzen, along with the refresh, those should be dropping in a few more months. But in any case, guys, it looks like there is a very good budget gaming solution for people who are trying to build gaming PCs. Now remember, you're not going to be playing anything at the highest settings on except maybe esports titles, but if you're willing to put up with that for at least a couple of months, it's definitely something that I would consider if you're trying to build a budget PC. So, that's a great news for gamers and PC enthusiasts, all over the place, right? Now let's talk about some of the technical issues with this. It actually took me a little while to get the CPU to work properly. It wasn't working right out of the gate. So first off, if you are on an older motherboard, you are going to have to update your BIOS in order for it to support these new APUs. Secondly, things like Ryzen Master do not work with it. It's currently not supported. Same with Relive or Relive, whatever you want to call it, which is basically the Shadowplay version from AMD. Neither of those functions are supported currently on the APU. Something also to take into consideration is that these APUs don't have their own VRAM. Typically, when you have a dedicated graphics card, it has its own basically memory cache that it uses to render things like textures and especially if you're using things like mods, but there's not any of that with the APU, so it takes it directly from your system's memory. Meaning if you have 8 gigabytes of RAM and you're using 4 gigabytes of RAM, that's 4 gigabytes of RAM being dedicated to the game and then 4 gigabytes of system memory. So you may have to have more memory and not to run into any bottlenecks, although at that point it would be really more just worth it to buy a GPU. And then in terms of driver issues, guys, something I want to just show really quickly here. If you are downloading the most recent drivers through the AMD Auto Detect, it is not going to work. I was getting like 1 FPS in all my games and I couldn't figure it out. I actually had to go and do basically the custom one, and the drivers you want currently are the 17.7, not the 18.0 and higher. Make sure you do that, and you shouldn't be running into any technical issues, which is something I wanted to bring to your attention. So if you buy this APU and you're wondering what's going on, you don't spend hours trying to figure it out like I did. So anyway, guys, this is a great solution for those who are looking to have a budget-oriented build coming up, and I couldn't be more pleased. I'm actually going to be doing a few more tests. I think my next video is I'm going to basically see if I can stream with it, so we'll see how that works out. But anyway, guys, again, I can't tell you how much I appreciate everyone's continued support of my channel. I am blowing up. It's absolutely insane. If you haven't already, enter one of the 3 giveaways going on my channel, in my description down below. We're shooting for 5,000 subscribers by 2018. I think we're probably going to hit it in like a week. But another giveaway is going to come out with that, obviously, and that's the next tier we're trying to hit. You know, if you are going to be buying these APUs or any PC parts, please use my affiliate links in the description if you're in a country. Links to those because it directly supports me and my channel. And again, to everyone who's already used it and are using those, I can't tell you how much it means to me. And just outside of that, guys, you know, if you like this video, leave me a big thumbs up. If you didn't, go ahead and leave me a thumbs down. Leave a comment down below, but get subscribed, and we hope to see you next time here on Geared Inc.